Well, hello, everybody. Good morning. Welcome in. It's Tuesday here with Longshore and McKnight, presented by Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Glad you're with us here today. And I got to tell you, Barry, I must have heard you. I thought you were on the road today. I thought I was going to see you in a different venue this morning.
An audible yesterday. We got done with the coaches show last night, Trojan Talk with Coach Jared Parker. And at that point, I was supposed to drive to, Conway, Arkansas.
Mm-hmm.
So I figured it'd probably be better to just go home, get a good night's sleep.
Oh, yeah.
Do the show from here at my palatial home studio. And then I'm driving all the way to Fayetteville, Arkansas today. So, yeah, it's about a 10 and a half hour drive. So I got that ahead of tomorrow's meeting between Troy and Arkansas in men's basketball from Fayetteville. One of a couple of games of interest. Auburn plays tomorrow night against Kent State. It is at home, no plane flight. They don't have to travel.
Ah, that's good.
So there is that. So
hey, so to get to Fayetteville, you go Memphis, and then over.
You go Memphis, and then whatever interstate that is, 55 through Little Rock. The thing is about Fayetteville is if you're driving, a lot of you probably know this already. We've done a lot of games in Fayetteville in all different sports, 3 different sports. But once you cross the Mississippi and you get into West Memphis, Arkansas, you say, oh, boy, I'm in Arkansas.
Oh, no.
Can't be long now. There is no place where 2 cities are further apart and still in the same state of Arkansas as West Memphis, Arkansas in the extreme southeast, and Fayetteville, which is in the extreme northwest. You got to go through every inch of Arkansas.
Kind of like New Orleans to Shreveport, I would imagine. Similar to that, I would.
Yeah, everybody says, oh, man, it's not that far. Shreveport, yeah. And not only that, but, I mean, you go through some.
Yeah.
Ooh. Well, it's not particularly scenic. It never has.
Well, yeah, I get you. I hear what you're saying. I've told this story before. I drove out west when I was in college one summer. We're driving through the state of Kansas in the middle of the day, which was not a good idea. We should have done it at night because there's absolutely zero scenery throughout the state of Kansas. You cross into Colorado, you're going, oh, all right, here we go. We're about to see some mountains. It's another several hours before you see mountains. You don't see those till you get to Denver.
Yeah.
Some of those travels can be a little boring. Well, hello to everybody out there. Good morning. Really appreciate the chats coming in. We greatly appreciate that. And Barry, how about our man Kirk? Well, he's talking about John Robinson. I remember the coach when he was at Southern Cal, faced Alabama a couple of times, passed away at the age of 89 years old.
Yep. He also was the coach of the L.A. Rams. I want to say he was the coach of the Rams back when they played at Anaheim Stadium, and Eric Dickerson was his running back. So he was pretty well. I didn't realize, like Kirk says, he was he won a natty with LSU as an advisor. Had a great career. There's no question about that. Also, and he passed away at the age of 89.
Wow.
Also yesterday, passing away at the age of 89, former Notre Dame coach Jerry Faust. Now,
oh boy.
Yeah. He you remember he built an absolutely majestic program at Moeller High School in Cincinnati. High school in Cincinnati, and they hired him at Notre Dame out of high school. And he lasted at Notre Dame for 3 years, John.
Yeah, I remember when they hired him out of high school. It was kind of a big deal. Wow. Yeah. Notre Dame getting a high school coach. And he's from Moeller High School. Now, who was the coach at Michigan that Gary Moeller? Well, no, not Gary.
Yeah. Was that him? It was Gary Moeller. I think he was the guy that Jim Rome called 3.5 Moeller or something like that because he got a DUI.
He referenced if anybody got a Dewey, they got Mollered. Because I think you're right. I do remember that. Yeah. So sad to hear that, John Robinson, for you younger viewers and listeners.
He was a good one.
Quite a coach. He certainly was. He took over for Jim McKay. I mean, not
John McKay.
John McKay.
Yeah.
He followed John McKay at Southern Cal. Wow.
Yeah, right. He was his lead assistant there. So 89. John, we are We're getting older, which is a blessing. Believe me, it beats the old.
You ain't kidding. Okay, so John goes ahead and lets the cat out of the bag this morning. On our River Region Straw chat line, he says, "Boy, Bama looked like a Final Four team last night." Barry, I had to look it up.
Yeah, that was.
I hate to use this analogy because it's coming. And I watched some of the game. Bama struggled. I'm expecting another huge blowout. First thing I thought was, is McNeese State any good? Are they any good?
They went to the NCAA tournament last year. The McNeese State Cowboys out of Lake Charles, Louisiana. Their head coach, Will Wade, used to be the coach at LSU until there was some audio that surfaced of him making somebody a strong offer, which also made the Romy show a couple of times. So
I wonder if the student section brought that up last night.
I do not know.
I did look it up, went to the tournament, and they also are picked to win their conference, the Southland Conference.
Yes.
So I thought, well, okay. And then I'm reading the write-up, and Nate Oates says, hey, we want to play good teams. We don't like cream puffs. We want to be tested every night out, blah, blah, blah. I'm thinking, well, okay. I mean, not a helmet game as we call it in football, but I had to look them up. But they look pretty good. I'll give them credit. They look like a pretty good basketball team. I'm not sure if Alabama was sleepwalking a little bit last night. Maybe didn't respect them or take them as seriously as they should have. I mean, it wasn't Duke or North Carolina, but I thought McNeese had some players.
I'm glad to hear you say that. I'm glad to hear you be the calm, rational voice in the Alabama sports world. Believe me, because winning is hard.
Yeah.
Of course, they were playing at home. It's a sandwich game. They had a couple of really big games. And then they had McNeese. Yeah, they got outscored in the second half at home. But, McNeese is no slouch themselves.
Oh,
please, I know your team made the Final Four last year for the first time. It was great. It really was. Great year, great team, salt of the earth. Now I know why Tigers eat their young.
Mm-hmm.
All that. I mean, but don't be looking an 8-point win over a tournament team last year and say that wasn't enough. That doesn't say. Save that for Bryant Denny, okay? Coleman Coliseum, there's no room for that.
I don't know. I thought, man, and there again, I did a little research. Didn't know a lot about McNeese. I knew Will Wade was there.
Yeah.
I was actually at an LSU game when he was the coach in Tuscaloosa at Coleman.
Yeah. Yeah,
it was pretty good.
They made reference to the strong offer in that one from there.
Who was the kid from Mountain Brook that went to LSU that Alabama had been recruiting?
Oh, see, now I knew every once in a while John would say, "What's that coach's name?"
Yeah.
John, Jim, Fred. Who was the coach? Gary Moeller. I knew as he goes train of thought through this entire segment, he'd come to one. And I know exactly who you're talking about, but right off the top of my head, all of you guys Google it for me right now.
Somebody help us on the River Region Straw chat line and give us that kid. I can see that kid
train of thought. Now. He'd sit there and he'd come up with one finally that I would not immediately know the answer to.
Yeah.
And I know I just cannot think
They let that young man know that they were welcoming him into Coleman in a unusual
I want to
way,
say Watford, Trent Watford, I think. Trent Trill, something Watford.
It does sound kind of
anyway,
familiar.
Okay, so
but the Stash pumped in 22 last night. So, hey, he had a good night.
Yep. I'm telling you, Bama fans, you are not in a position at this part of the season to be looking at an 8-point win over a tournament team and saying that simply was not enough. I'm dissatisfied with the level of play. Give me a break. Come on,
I don't know. I got to give McNeese a little love. I mean, I just didn't know that much about him.
That is a sane, rational, mentally healthy way to look at it, which is why it's so strange.
Barry, as well as I do, people out there are going to jump to conclusions. Wait a minute, they only beat McNeese by 8. What do you mean? But you got to peel the onion back a little bit and see what it's all about. Man, our man Joe is on a roll this morning. I mean, he's coming hard today. Love it, Joe. Man.
Yeah, Joe says, I'm just upset they didn't cover the spread, signed Coach Bohannon. That's a cheap shot. Come on, Joe.
That's going to live for a while. I mean,
yeah.
Coach
if we're going to go Will Wade, we're going to go Brad Bohannon too, for sure, no doubt.
Terrence says he's loving the basketball talk this morning. Yeah, good stuff.
By the way, as we continue on the basketball talk, this may be on our Victory Land topic wheel coming up in just a moment. Not a great one, not a great card tonight.
No.
In SEC basketball, I mean, Auburn doesn't play until tomorrow. But don't sleep on this one, because this will be a good one tonight. Kentucky and Duke from Cameron Indoor Stadium. Duke is number 6. Kentucky is number 19. Both of them are 2-0. Believe it or not, it's going to be on ESPN tonight.
No way.
Yeah, 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock. It's a part of it. If you're a basketball guy, if you're a hoops guy, and I am not 100% into it yet, but I am a basketball guy. I am following the Troy Trojans. We got Arkansas tomorrow. I'll give you a report tomorrow morning from Fayetteville. But you got Kansas and Michigan State at 5:30.
Okay.
Kansas number 1 in the country. Got a great center named Hunter Dickinson. That's at 5:30 on ESPN. And the second part of the doubleheader is Kentucky Duke from Cameron Indoor. It's
beautiful.
I'm telling you. No. It's not from Cameron Indoor. It's from State Farm Arena. This is a deal in Atlanta. So, big basketball tonight. Yeah.
I love it. Awesome. And you say Auburn's off. They don't play till tomorrow.
They play tomorrow.
They're at home.
Yeah, they play tomorrow. Okay. Number 5 in the country against Kent State, the Golden Flashes. And, of course, Troy tomorrow against number 18, Arkansas from Fayetteville. That's a 7 o'clock start time. And I believe it's on the SEC network.
All right, I'm going to be checking that out.
Yeah.
Loved hearing Damian Fishback do the game last night from Tuscaloosa. He's good. I like him. He's a good color analyst, always good there. All right, so we're here on a Tuesday. Yes, I did reference the fight flight from over the weekend. I wonder if the FAA is going to step in. Is there any type of fine here?
I would imagine.
Obviously with the charter, there's more expense because they had to go back and land and take off again and refuel and all that kind of stuff.
I mean, I saw a clip. It's old. It's not like it happened yesterday or after the election or something, where this older lady was screaming at the guy sitting next to her because he had a MAGA shirt on, and they threw the old lady out.
Yep.
I mean, I don't know if there was a fine or anything or a don't fly or. But if you got a fight on a plane, even if it is a charter, I imagine there's some sort of repercussions from the federal aviation.
I just can't understand, maybe something was brewing in pre-boarding or whatever, and this was something that
from
just
practice.
Could have been.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, could they have not taken care of this on the tarmac or before? I mean, I wonder what happened once they took off and a fight breaks out. And obviously they're like 5 minutes into the flight because they're not even over Montgomery yet. And the pilot's trying to land. And I just kind of wonder what triggered it all. I mean, I mentioned yesterday, the guy leaned back in his seat and hit the guy's knees behind him and something happened, or I don't know.
I'm not a hearsay guy, but the word is that there were torn clothes and there was blood and stuff.
Wow.
How do you get in a fight that involved in 5 minutes into a flight? You're in the air, What are you doing? How does that happen? The only really good airplane fight I've ever seen was, I think, when Goldfinger shot the window out and he ended up getting sucked out the window.
Yes.
And the stewardess came up and she said, "What happened to Mr. Goldfinger?" And he says he's playing his, what was it, John?
Golden harp.
Playing his golden harp. Yeah. I mean, but that's stupid. That's a stupid thing to do.
Yeah, it is. It really is. I don't get it. I think it'll be interesting, Barry, as the season progresses, if those two young men are on the floor for Auburn at the same time. I think that'd be interesting. Are they going to pass it to one another, or are they going to pick and roll? Be interesting to see if they're on the floor at the same time. All right, when we get back from our first break, we're going to spin the wheel. Chris the Bammer start chomping at the bit.
We'll get it early today. Yeah.
Wanting us to kind of get in on that. We got Brian Matthews at the bottom of the hour from auburnsports.com. He'll join us to tell us what's going on with the Tigers as they get ready for La Mo. What's the deal with the quarterbacks? We'll ask him about that.
Yeah.
Travis Ryer at the top of the next hour, talking Tide with Ryer on YouTube.
Yep, that's coming up. In association with Yellowhammer News, this is Longshore and McKnight, presented by Bud Light. Hey, this is Barry McKnight from Longshore and McKnight, telling you about our friends at River Region Straw. You're not buying sticks or stems and pine cones. You're buying premium long needle pine straw from River Region Straw. Kenny and his staff have access to the best pine straw in the River Region, full of color, that'll last all season long. They've got locations in Montgomery, Prattville, and Auburn, and no order is too big or too small. From a few bales to an 18-wheeler trailer load, River Region Straw also has seasoned firewood for the cold days and nights ahead. Pickup is available, and your order can be delivered if you like. They can even spread your pine straw if that's what you want to have happen, for sure. Call or text Kenny today, 669-5959. That's 669-5959 for all of your pine straw and firewood needs at River Region Straw.
In sports, if you think joy only happens after you win, think again. Look at the world's most successful athletes like Serena Williams, Brooks Koepka, and Alex Morgan. They don't spend all their days grinding away. They take time to enjoy themselves, like getting together with friends over a Michelob Ultra, because they know that happiness is the key to winning, and that joy is the whole game, not just the end game. Michelob Ultra. 95 calories, 2.6 grams of carbs. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. AB Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Why Hands? At Hands Heating and Air, you get this area's highest ranked service provider with 24-hour repair service, no overtime charges, and their same-day service guarantee. Plus, instead of other companies' 30-day repair warranty, Hands gives you a 3-year repair warranty. Hands Heating and Air is here for you 24/7, 365. And service is not just something they do, it's their way of operating, for you in mind. All of Hands employees are trained to adhere to this standard. They work hard to ensure that this standard is maintained, and they are constantly looking for new ways to better serve you. Call Hands Heating and Air today at 508-5382. That's 508-5382, or find them on the web at 834hands.com. Okay, back at it here, about 17 minutes past the hour on this Tuesday. Longshore and McKnight, presented by Bud Light in association with Yellowhammer News. Barry mentioned that as we went to break. Very excited about that. Great folks there at Yellowhammer News, and you can check them out at yellowhammernews.com. They're on all the social media platforms as well. They're everywhere with great news, lifestyle, politics, sports. They touch it all, and they do a great job, and we're certainly thrilled about our association with them. You can check them out each and every day. There's a wrap-up of what we do here on the program there at Yellowhammer News, and we really appreciate that. And we're going to have, as a matter of fact, somebody from Yellowhammer News is going to join us tomorrow. We're looking forward to that on the program, and certainly going to be doing that on a regular basis here with Longshore and McKnight.
Real quick, before we get to the Victoryland topic wheel, let's wrap up a subject from yesterday that was on the topic wheel, and we were asking when we were addressing that topic what the upshot will be. Well, here it is, and John was talking yesterday on the wheel about field storming.
Yes.
Well, the SEC has fined LSU $250,000. Obviously, they not only did they not have enough fans left to have a square dance, but they were also not in the mood to storm the field. But they did fine LSU $250,000 after fans threw debris on the field Saturday against Alabama. Good for them. That's got to stop. That's a new trend. That's got to be nipped in the bud.
You know, Herb Street was very vocal about that when that happened.
Called them clowns.
Yep, sure did. And talked about what happened in Austin. At a Texas game when there was debris thrown on the field. They were there doing that game. I believe that was maybe it was the Georgia game.
It was the Georgia game after the after the interception they overturned because it was a phantom pass interference. Then he thought later on, says, I'm not feeling that. Also,
Barry, when they don't show people running across the field anymore. Every now and then you'll see a guy, get the nerve, his buddies go, oh yeah, go do it. Run through the middle of the field during the middle of the game.
Right.
Sometimes the guys would streak. They'd be naked doing it. And the TV networks quit showing it because they did not want to give people ideas out there. Well, hey, I think I'm going to do that. That looks fun. They need to do the same thing about people throwing stuff on the field and field storming. Just don't even show it. They're glamorizing it, making it out that it's this great thing. I don't know why they put it out there for everybody to see. But, Barry, they can find these schools all they want. That's not going to stop it because the kids don't care. I mean, it's not coming out of their pocket.
Yeah.
And, $250,000 in the grand scheme of things is a drop in the bucket. But, come on, the fines are doing no good.
Well, Ole Miss, when they beat Georgia in Oxford, the SEC has fined Ole Miss $350,000 for rushing the field. Ole Miss was fined the $250,000 for a second violation of what they call the league's access to the competition area policy in storming the field, and an additional $100,000 for fans entering the field prior to the end of the game. Which, I mean, that's on the fans. Pay attention to the clock, okay? Pay attention. They ran out onto the field and had to get and ran back on again and all that kind of stuff. If you're going to be an obnoxious fan, at least be a smart obnoxious fan. Tell your drunken buddies, wait, two. Okay, now let's go. That saves you $100,000 right there. Come on.
Well, Daniel on our River Region Straw chat line. He chats in this morning around 7:20. That was like a minute ago. Daniel says, just start arresting people for storming the field. That'll stop it. It's literally trespassing. Daniel, I see where you're coming from here, buddy. But
theoretically, I get you.
Yeah.
In reality, that's 20,000 people.
Ain't gonna happen.
You got 30 security people?
Yeah, at that. And some of them are rent-a-cops. What are they going to do?
They can't arrest. They can detain.
I vividly remember the kick six. Yeah, the whole play. Chris Davis coming down the sidelines. But what I remember most about it, there were some Lee County sheriffs in that corner of the end zone. There was about 4, 5, 6 of them right there. And people are chomping at the bit to get on the field. They are just can't wait. They're kind of right there on the ledge. The end zone right there. You're low to the field. Well, this one guy, he's like the guinea pig. He jumps over the wall, and every one of these sheriffs and deputies jump on the guy, got him on the ground, handcuff him. They escort him off the field, all of them, not just one, every one of these sheriff's deputies. And as soon as they round the corner, woof, it was like a wave of people coming out of the stands. And by that time, it was over. It was done. You can't arrest them all at that point. I don't know what they're going to do. I don't want them to put fencing around the fields, but Barry, I'm telling you, if this continues, they might not have any choice.
I don't have an answer. I really don't. That was from yesterday. Let's spin the wheel here.
Yeah, let's do it. All right. It is our Victoryland 777 topic wheel.
Oh, let's see. We got 7 of them today.
Look at that. Look at all those
get moving.
Colors.
Yeah.
All those colors. Spin that wheel. Chris, the wheel's spinning. It's for you, Chris. Where will it land? All
right.
Kickoff times. Barry, did you see yesterday that the SEC released kickoff times for next week's games? And the first thing that caught my eye is, look who's playing at 11 o'clock again. The Ole Miss Rebels.
I think that's punitive. I think they're trying to send a message to Lane to stop whining about kickoff times. We're going to give LSU the night game, so shut up. It ain't changing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know they're playing Florida, but
still, though, there is preferential treatment in this league. There absolutely is.
Okay. I hear you. I hear you what you're saying.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I call it preferential treatment. I call it business decisions. They're looking to get the best matchups and the best windows to get the best ratings. That's the way I look at it.
And screw the fans. I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it. I just don't think it's right. Ole Miss in Florida is at 11 in the morning.
Ooh.
All these games.
Yeah,
I don't know which is the greater travesty. The game times or the games themselves. UMass at Georgia at 11:45. UTEP at Tennessee at noon. Kentucky, Texas. That's the ABC game at 2:30 from Austin. Texas doesn't play many road games, it seems like.
I'm telling you, Texas had a sweet schedule this year. And they're getting flip-flops. Going to have the same thing next year. They'll just play home and away.
Louisiana Tech at Arkansas on 3 on Plus, ESPN Plus. Wofford at South Carolina. Wofford's nickname, the mascot? The Terriers.
Yes, the Terriers.
At South Carolina, 3 o'clock. Yep. Missouri at Mississippi State, 3:15. Alabama at Oklahoma at 6:30 on ABC. The spread in that game will be in the 20s.
Barry, somebody, I got to double check. Somebody sent me something over the weekend that had Alabama as a 2-point favorite. Maybe that was the line from the summer.
2?
Yeah, there's no way that line's 2, but I think they looked at it wrong. This was someone that maybe isn't versed in its spreads as well as some other people we know.
Very nice, very nicely
phrased. There's no way Bama's only a 2-point favorite on the road in Norman.
Yeah, Texas A&M at Auburn. Auburn fans, if you can make it through ULM this Saturday morning, you got Texas A&M coming in. Chance to shock the world. That's at 6:30-ish, 6:30, 6:45, either on ESPN or the SEC network. The other choice at that time slot is Vanderbilt LSU. One of those is going to be on ESPN. One of them is going to be on the SEC network. Which do you think? Texas A&M at Auburn, will that be the ESPN game or Vandy at LSU?
Well, let's see. A&M this week
Flip the coin.
Has gotten to Mexico State.
They're winning that one.
So I think New Mexico. I think A&M and Auburn. I'm kind of looking in that direction. 6:30.
Yeah, me too.
But Barry, you got to go dual screen. I mean, both Bama and Auburn
I can't handle
are going to be on at the same time, so you got to go dual screen next week to be able to enjoy both of those games. Just have them on 2 separate TVs like we used to do it in the old days. And you had to bring the TV from the bedroom, mom and dad's TV in the bedroom. You'd have to wheel it into the living room so you could watch both games. Kids today are going, what? You did what? Yep, that's how you did it back in the day.
Never did that. Never did that. We watched the game. We watched what was on TV at the time. And if you missed it, if you had to do your homework or something while the $6 Million Man was on, and you've been waiting for it all week because it's the one where he's fighting Bigfoot. And you have to do your homework because your mom says you ain't going to get out until you get it finished and everything because you didn't make a good grade on the test in that subject last time.
Been there.
If you missed $6 Million Man in the Bigfoot episode, it ain't like you can go back on demand and take a look at it or, go to YouTube. You missed it. Same thing with football. We watched the game. My dad and my brother would be, man, I wonder what they're going to do on this 3rd down. It's 3rd and 6. And so far, meanwhile, at the Longshore household, it was like, it's 3rd and 6. They're covering already. Let's see what's going on over here.
What's happening over here?
I can't do that.
And the TV in the bedroom was smaller than the TV in the living room, so you didn't get as good of a picture. And then you had to move the antenna around to make sure you got the signal in right. But we would do that. I experienced dual games. Wasn't picture in picture, but dual games is like an eight-year-old. Said, oh, this is great. Kidding me? 2 games for the price of 1. And then when I made my first trip to Vegas when I was about 15 and walked through a sports book and went, wow, Dad, look at this. This is great.
Help me out with this. Help me out with this, Plainsman Preston, because I'm getting a brain lock. We do a lot of this program off our head. Plainsman Preston says Bigfoot was played by Andre the Giant, which he was. But I want to say Bigfoot was also on the Incredible Hulk. Wasn't the Incredible Hulk fighting Bigfoot, or was it Steve Austin? Or golly, my 70s television trivia is.
No, that's back to TV.
All right,
it's really, really good.
Kickoff time. Okay, there we go. One
kickoff
down.
time. So there you have it for next week, but not so much when Auburn and Alabama are playing. But I thought, Lane ain't going to be happy.
They have not had
game
all year long for a team that is still in the battle for a college football playoff. All year long, they have not had for their fans an evening game. Everything has been.
I guess the game last week against Georgia ended it in the dark. I mean, it had the lights on and all, but didn't kick off at night. So, Ole Miss has kind of had a rough day. They haven't gotten the preferential treatment.
No.
All right, what do you say we take a quick time out? When we return, our man Brian Matthews, auburnsports.com, is set to join us. We're going to talk about the Tigers as they get ready for Louisiana Monroe.
It's Longshore and McKnight, presented by Bud Light.
Enjoy all the food, drink, fun, and winning at Victoryland. An elevated entertainment value, the best overall casino experience, and the highest jackpot payouts makes Victoryland the place to be. Go to Victoryland.com to find out more about their incredible giveaways, daily promotions, and free play opportunities. 777 Casino, simulcast Thoroughbred, and Greyhound Racing are all within a short drive from anywhere in the Southeast. Victoryland, I-85, exit 22, Shorter, Alabama. At Victoryland, you can be a winner too.
Hi, this is Benji with Marguerite's Exquisite Jewelry. Guys, this is the time to shop. The holidays will be here before you know it. Our cases are slam full, so take advantage and lay away for Christmas now. We have a full repair shop and design shop, so if you dream it, we can make it for her. And if you need any repairs, we have an in-house master jeweler. At Marguerite's, we make it. We really make it. At Marguerite's, we are open 7 days a week. Come see us at the Preparatory Shopping Center, 8163 Vaughn Road, Montgomery, Alabama, right by Chappie's.
Phoenix Physical Therapy is ready to help patients recover, recharge, and rise. They develop a customized therapy plan for each patient to get them back to enjoying their favorite activities. Their experienced team is committed to providing exceptional care in a professional environment. Whether you're looking to prevent or treat an injury, recover from a recent illness, or recuperate from surgery, schedule an appointment with our clinic and take advantage of our physical therapy, athletic training, workers' comp, and employer solutions service. Experience elevated physical therapy today. Call Phoenix Physical Therapy at 239-9316. That's 239-9316.
Dixie Electric Plumbing and Air has teamed up for the 4th year with the Food Bank of East Alabama and Montgomery Area Food Bank in an effort to reduce the high percentage of food insecurity within the Montgomery and Auburn communities. For every new Dixie Cares Plan membership that is purchased, Dixie will be donating 7 meals to partnered food banks. Last year alone, Dixie donated 13,356 meals. Our goal for 2024 is 15,000. Thank you for choosing Dixie and for helping us make a difference within our community.
Okay, welcome back in, everybody. About 27 minutes to the top of the hour. Brian Matthews, auburnsports.com, going to join us here in just a moment here on the program. Looking forward to kind of talking about the Tigers as they get ready for their game this Saturday. Coming off an off week, and, of course, Barry, the big talk's been about the quarterback play. I understand that Peyton Thorne did not practice last week due to an illness.
Yeah, did not practice during the bye week. He'll be reevaluated this week ahead of the return to the practice field. That sounds legitimate, actually. And I thought, we made a good point last week. We had a good point on this program last week in that, Peyton Thorne really has played pretty well over the last 5 games. The problems they've had offensively, and they have had some, have not been all him. Not all, but it's just been bad. And sometimes you just need to make a change particularly if this quarterback is not going to be here next year. There's a very interesting article from Matt It's not Matt Baker. I have a friend named Matt Baker. On ESPN, ESPN Plus, they're talking about Max Olson. Max Olson talking about the transfer window.
Mm-hmm.
Hugh Freeze has said they'd be very, very stupid as a coaching staff if they didn't think that already some of these guys' phones are ringing. You know, they are having to re-recruit their locker room like everybody else is. Anyway, Max Olson talks about the transfer window opens on the very day the playoff bracket is announced.
Oh, boy.
And you know the reason, I mean, on that day, the reason why is because if you find out you're not making the playoff and you're going to be playing in the, whatever, John, the Houston Bowl or the New Mexico Bowl or something like that, you can hop in right there and you can forget about the bowl game. Anyway, it starts the day the college football playoff is going on, and there are some buyers out there. Michigan, Auburn, Miami, Florida State are all going to be looking for new quarterbacks. One industry source says in the piece, there's not one quarterback who's worth $3 million, Cam Ward, but I think you're going to have a lot of $1 million quarterbacks or $750,000 quarterbacks. He said, I mean, you had quarterbacks moving around for $250,000 or $300,000 this year that were real proven guys. That's just not going to happen next year. Well, if there isn't a difference maker, if we're talking about, you know, there's no 1 million guys, $1 million guys, do you even fool with it? If you're Auburn?
I wonder about that.
If there's no, nobody knows who's going to be in. Like I said, illicitly, players' phones are ringing right now. Hey, man, how much you making? Gosh, I can get you so-and-so over here. But who are the quarterbacks that are likely to move that could be a difference maker, a program changer? Look, Miami without Cam Ward, 7-3, maybe 6-4, something like that. He is the best player on that team. If there's not going to be that guy for Auburn, do you just not fool with it, or do you, I don't know, give it to the freshman Deuce Knight or something like that? I don't know.
I wonder, Barry, about quarterback depth. Because they all want to, particularly at that position, they all want to play. I want to be a starter. I mean, if you're a quarterback on a college team, let's say in the Power Five, odds are you probably started in high school. You were a pretty good quarterback in high school if you're on the depth chart of a college football program. And they all want to play. Now, granted, there's only so many schools, there's only so many openings for a first-string quarterback in the Power 5 or 4, whatever it is today. But you're going to still see movement in some of these schools that have depth. I mean, that's a luxury, I think, now, particularly at quarterback, having that quarterback depth. And I wonder at Alabama, I think Ty Simpson's probably figured out he's going to be the next guy in line, but Dylan Lonergan, Austin Mack, I mean, are those guys going to move on?
And when will that next in line be first in line? Is Milroe going to the draft? Is he going to stay another year? He's had some really big highs.
Yeah.
And he's had a couple lows out there. If he decides that another year polishing his craft at Alabama is better than going to the NFL,
yep.
What do you do if you're Ty Simpson? I guarantee he'd have a chance to play at a good school. Sure. I mean, a chance to play, not just a chance to go, but a chance to start at a Power 5 school somewhere.
Barry, if Milroe does want to play again, you got to wonder. Ty Simpson's been hanging around a long time. Clock's ticking. Kid's got to make a decision.
Wants to play.
Yeah, we'll see. Hey, Brian Matthews, auburnsports.com, joining us here today. Brian, thank you so much, my man. How's it going?
I got my computer rolling. It's going much better. Thank you. Good morning.
Let's see if we can get Brian's internet a little bit better here.
Yeah, he had a little computer issue. We're going to try to get that restarted there for him.
Yeah.
What's that when your voice sounds like that? It's over-modulating, or maybe it's kind of trying to come all together, I think, or something like that.
It's pixelating or something like that. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
Yes.
Yeah, but Brian Matthews, of course, auburnsports.com.
There we go.
Joining us here. Let's give this a try.
It's getting there. Yeah, a little fuzzy today.
Yeah, and sorry, a little patchy.
Yeah, let's try to. We'll get Gerd to send you another link, and we'll get your patch back in.
We'll give it
and
a
see
shot.
If we get us a better connection there with Brian Matthews. We'll get that going here in just a moment.
Yeah,
and he'll get us back in because there again, we got to find out what's going on with that quarterback position with the Tigers and who is going to take that first snap against Louisiana Monroe.
Yeah. Also going to talk a little bit about basketball. Do you think we have a couple of questions we might want to ask him off the court?
Well, somebody on the chat line is really challenged us here, Barry. I see. I saw it earlier. I'll see if I can find it about. Hey, don't ask about the flight. I want to know about the team. Well,
maybe whenever you get Brian on, you'll talk about the win over Houston instead of the flight. We can do them both. It's just It's just interesting. What happens? Do they lose those two guys? Do they suspend them for a couple of games? Do they just say, hey, boys will be boys and make them run a few stadium steps or something like that?
I think it'll be interesting, Barry, to see if they're dressed out tomorrow night. You know, was this a one-game deal? Will they be dressed out for their next outing? I don't know.
I wonder. Are they practicing? I don't know. That's a good question. It was another good question. We were talking about Kentucky Duke. They play tonight at Cameron Indoor Stadium, which I've actually been inside before. Not during a game, but I've been there. Somebody says, why do they call it Cameron Indoor Stadium? I mean, of course it's indoor.
That too.
You know, that's an old thing. You know, I kind of like it because it's unique. You know, I wish you could think of names, you know, like Smith Air Conditioned Stadium or something like that. Why not, you know, something descriptive about it? Joe's Old Stadium, you know, Cameron Indoor Stadium. I kind of like it. It is a great place to watch a basketball game.
And Auburn's playing there this year. Auburn's playing at Cameron.
Yep. They got there's some good games. It's going to be an epic basketball season. Absolutely epic. Looking forward to that. Well, let's kind of
as I said earlier, don't get lost in McNeese State. I was guilty. I had to look it up. Found out they were a tournament team, picked to win their conference. I mean, don't let the name on the jersey fool you. That's what I learned last night, Barry.
Yep.
Don't let the name on the jersey fool you.
Yep. We can also I'm pretty sure it's on the topic wheel, but last night getting back from the coaches show, I watched as much of the NFL game as I could stand. Goodness, it was brutal.
It is on the topic wheel. I know we're going to get to that later on. I just, Barry, when I watch the Dolphins, I'm just cringing because I don't want Tua to get hurt again.
Yeah. And he took a couple of pops there. All right, let's try this. Try this one out. Brian Matthews, auburnsports.com, joins us here. Drum roll.
Here we go. Wow, Brian, the internet connections today.
Yeah,
I don't know what's happening.
Man, I sure am sorry. It is gosh, we can barely see you. So we're gonna have to call an audible on this one. Let's take a break and kind of stay on schedule.
Trying to get this figured out.
Yeah, again, in conjunction with Yellowhammer News, it's Longshore and McKnight, presented by Bud Light.
Phoenix Physical Therapy is ready to help patients recover, recharge, and rise. They develop a customized therapy plan for each patient to get them back to enjoying their favorite activities. Their experienced team is committed to providing exceptional care in a professional environment. Whether you're looking to prevent or treat an injury, recover from a recent illness, or recuperate from surgery, schedule an appointment with our clinic and take advantage of our physical therapy, athletic training, workers' comp, and employer solutions service. Experience elevated physical therapy today. Call Phoenix Physical Therapy at 239-9316. That's 239-9316.
Located just 8 miles north of Alabama's state capital, Capitol Hill features 3 18-hole championship courses. With more than 1,500 acres of golf and nature, the pure magnitude of this facility is amazing and allows each course to be drastically different from the others. Capitol Hill also features an innovative 360-degree driving range, 400 yards in diameter. Known by avid golfers as one of the most beautiful and challenging stops on the trail, Campion Ridge in Greenville lies just 40 miles from Montgomery. It is well worth the ride for any golfer looking for 27 holes of jaw-dropping golf. The greens have been redesigned to accommodate the higher green speed associated with our installation of the latest generation of ultra-dwarf Bermuda grass. Both locations offer fully stocked pro shops with all the latest equipment and apparel. Great food and beverages in the clubhouse can be enjoyed both before and after your round. Get your group together and hit the trail. Go to rtjgolf.com.
Shopping for a budget-friendly, reliable used car, or maybe a stunning new Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, or Ram? Well, in Prattville, it's always a process that starts with the team of professionals from Stiver CDJR. Thanks to years of experience helping others in the local community enjoy premium service, low prices, and access to a wealth of amazing new and used cars, it's safe to say that Stiver's Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram is the name to beat in Prattville. But hey, just don't take my word for it. Experience the Stiver's difference for yourself. Prices that will not be beat, a huge inventory, and knowledgeable, helpful sales associates. See why so many happy car and truck buyers shop at Stiver's CDJR, where Price sells cars and trucks on Cobbs Ford Road in Prattville. Okay, back at it here, about 14 minutes to the top of the hour. Still trying to work out some bugs with Brian Matthews, auburnsports.com. Maybe joins us via audio only. We're going to get that worked out. Some internet issues there maybe in the Auburn area. Before we do that or get that going, you want to spin the wheel again?
Let's do the wheel. Let's go wheel.
Yeah.
Yes.
Let's
From
go
Victory
wheel.
Land 777, got 6 left.
Boy, look at these color combinations we've got. Okay. That is Burn not listening.
Oh, I thought it was NIL and it just got misspelled
no.
here. Okay.
That is Greg Byrne, the athletic director at Alabama. Barry's not listening to me. He's not listening. I'm giving this free advice.
For the first time, what did you say? What could it possibly have been for him to say, that's it? I'm not taking his calls anymore. I'm not calling him anymore. What was that?
Well, first and foremost, I like Greg Byrne. I like him. I have no reason not to.
Set up.
I can only suggest things so many times before I want to see some action. I'm watching the game last night, Bama hosting McNeese State. And, we've talked about Coleman Coliseum over and over and over again and this, that, and the other. And folks just get to the reality. They're not building a new arena anytime soon. They seem to be happy with what they've got. It's all about NIL. I get it. But, Barry, I've mentioned this many a time, and as I'm watching the game last night, they're going up and down the floor, and then they get at the end of the floor. That's actually, I guess, the Alabama end of the floor where Alabama sits.
Right. Okay.
Well, on the there's a camera angle there that you can see over the Alabama bench, and then what else do you see? You see that area where they have put the media for about the last 10 years, and it looks terrible on camera. Every time they go down there, my eyes are drawn to this just area that looks different. There are no fans there. There are a bunch of so-called media members on their phones, probably playing Game of Thrones or whatever you do on your phone, not really paying attention. There's like an empty seat between, there's a media member, then 2 or 3 empty seats, and then another one.
Right.
Do they have to sit there? I mean, I know when they put floor seating in, they move the media to have the floor seats.
Is it 2x4s and plywood and gray spray paint? I mean, can you? Am I right?
It's kind of like a Formica countertop kind of surface, and they've got these little pseudo desk up there, and they're kind of this crimson shade, but they just look so out of place. And I'm thinking, you want your fans as close to the floor as you can get them. You want that fan advantage, and to me, this is just an eyesore. It takes away from the environment. There again, you want noise. You want your supporters there. Those guys are sitting on their hands. They're probably looking at another game or scanning the internet for some other story. Why does the media sit there? And if I'm Greg Byrne, I'm getting them out of there. I'm using
and putting them.
I don't care where you put them. I mean, you put them in a room at the practice facility. So what?
Way up there. I mean, I don't mind either. Way on up there.
Yeah.
Bring your binoculars. Yeah.
I don't get it. I just think that is a waste of premium space. And I've thought about that. Where do you put them? And, I'm not the athletic director. I don't know. But that's not where you put them. That is just not where you put those guys.
I love it. John ain't here to provide answers. I mean, I'm just here to provide observations. I observed. You find the answers out. I don't need I don't got answers.
I'm giving Greg Byrne a little advice, and I've done it multiple times. He's not listening. But next time you watch an Alabama game and they go to that end of the floor, you go, what is that? Oh, that's the media area.
That's what John's talking about. Yeah, I couldn't disagree with him more. All this time I've been listening to him gripe about it, and it's no big deal. Brian Matthews, I think this is the charm right here. Yeah.
Brian can tell us. I mean, Auburn built a new area at Jordan-Hare Stadium for the media, and I don't think the media is complaining about that.
Brian has been, that's for sure. Brian Matthews joins us. Much better. Brian that was one of our favorite episodes when Brian was giving his commentary about the new press box over at Jordan-Hare Stadium. How you doing, Brian?
Yeah, I'm good. I've turned my internet's down, so I've turned off internet on my phone. I'm on my phone now, so we'll see how this works. Maybe not as good, but
thank you.
But are we talking about the empty airport hangar over in Tuscaloosa? Is that what the subject is today?
Yes.
Yeah.
I was talking about. I don't like where the media is positioned, Brian. When you're watching the game, you see this area, and I'm thinking, wait a minute, what's going on over here? To me, it's wasted space. Fans should be there. The media should be somewhere else. Greg Byrne's not listening to me. I don't get it.
Yeah.
Well, you should apply for membership in the Auburn AD because they put us up in the rafters at the Neville Arena. So there you go.
Yeah. There you go. Brian, of course, is with auburnsports.com in BMAT's Monday Musings. The musical journey 60 years ago, 1964, Tom Jones recorded It's Not Unusual. I've heard some people use that very same phrase talking about the basketball team on the flight. Hey, those things happen.
Hey, was What's Up Pussycat on that album?
No, What's New Pussycat?
But
What's
New
Pussycat?
That was
She's
nice.
a lady, another one. Yeah.
Oh, Tom Jones, love that guy.
From Wales,
and,
UK.
Yes. He's like 84 now, and he can still really, really sing. They rolled as part of BMAT's Monday Musings. They rolled Toomer's Corner, the win over Houston in basketball. I had a chance to watch that one on a Troy team bus coming back from New Orleans. Boy, that team showed a lot of heart, Brian.
They did. I mean, they really fought hard. Really scrapped. It was a heavyweight battle,
Easy now. Come on. I see what you're doing.
I don't know what you're talking about.
At the game you're talking about?
Yeah. Of course.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, real scrap. But sometimes you got a puncher's chance when you go on the road like that. You just land one. And Auburn kept landing them in the second half. I thought it was an incredible performance, to be honest, by that team. Janai Broome, 15 to 20 points in the second half, played excellent. The coaching staff, Mike Burgomaster, Stephen Pearl did a great job of designing that offense and getting the ball to him. And then Ty Pettiford looks like one of Bruce Pearl's better freshmen during his time here. Very poised.
Is there going to be a rematch, or did Houston go Apollo Creed and say ain't going to be no rematch?
What's that movie? Clarice.
Silence of the Lambs?
Yeah. You know how they kind of when they move the bad guy in that movie, right? They put him on that roller thing. Yeah, that's sort of the plan now to make sure there's no more scraps there. So they're going to keep everybody in the safe spot when we go on the road from now on.
What? Yeah. Let's get to it then. What did happen on that flight?
Well, there was definitely a fight. Yep, and the flight definitely turned around, and the two players involved, Ja'Kai Howard, Jaheim Hudson, were both left at home, did not make the trip. We will speak to Bruce here later this afternoon and get an update on their status. Ja'Kai is a freshman. He went to a couple of schools, maybe didn't have the greatest home life. I don't know his complete story there, but I just think he has had a tough time controlling his emotions sometimes. So I think that's something that he's just got to work on, and we'll see if he can do that at Auburn. But we'll see how this is handled. I don't know if the police or FAA have any say so in this or not, but certainly that was not an acceptable thing to happen on a flight, right? I think I would have lost. I've been scared to death if I was on that flight. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. I'm with you. I mean, sit down, put your seatbelt on, read a book, and wait till you get to your destination. All that other stuff got to be put away, and be interested to see what Coach Pearl has to say about it. We heard from Coach Freeze yesterday. What are your thoughts coming into Louisiana Monroe, and who do you think is going to take the first snap at quarterback?
I think it's probably going to be Hank Brown. Peyton Thorne did not practice at all last week, injured that shoulder during the game. If you remember that throw to Cam Coleman, he was open in one-on-one coverage, and it came up real short. I think the injury happened the play before that. So that's an issue, and I just think the performance of the team, he's 8-12, I believe, as a starter. Maybe they just want to shake things up a little bit more and give Hank another shot. I think a lot of people feel that way. They're sort of done with Peyton. I feel bad. He's a good kid, works hard. But sometimes you just got to move on. So I think there's a pretty good chance that it'll be Hank. And, we'll probably find out more later this week.
In any percentage likelihood on Walker White? That seems to be, a lot of what a lot of our listenership and viewership is talking about. That's not really
I'd say really
right?
low.
Yeah.
He's been on the scout team all fall, getting very few reps with the first and second teams, as Peyton and Hank Brown have. This past week, they opened things up and let a lot of the backups and third teamers and guys who aren't playing much play a lot. They had a scrimmage. Walker White participated in that, and Freeze shared with us that he threw a touchdown there to win it. So he's certainly getting some more reps now. So I wouldn't completely rule it out, but they're still trying to win games. So my guess is that Hank is going to get that start if it's not Peyton.
All right. The night game next week against Texas A&M. Auburn has not won a game at home in the league yet this year. You say, they're still trying to win games. Just go over the laundry list of what's still out there for Auburn to accomplish. What's the carrot in front of this team to follow?
Well, they get to show off that $1 million light show at the start of the fourth quarter. I mean, if everybody will stay for that, that's going to be a big deal for the university and the AD department. So that's always a plus, right? I don't know. They'd have to win out to be 6-6, which is going to be nearly impossible for them to do the way they're playing right now. I think the biggest thing besides football on the field is just trying to hold on to this recruiting class. That's the most important thing. They lost one. Dante Core flipped to Ole Miss after his visit there. I think that's normal to lose a recruit or two down the stretch in recruiting, even if things are going well. So I wouldn't necessarily make that worrisome, but we'll see how other schools come after other recruits. Of course, Deuce Knight was there at Ole Miss too. So that's a concern, I would say. Maybe not a big concern yet, but a slight concern at least. But, I don't know. The defense has gotten better. It's playing better. So that's a plus. But right now the offense and special teams seem to be either not getting better or taking steps backwards right now, and that's a real concern. And I think that's a concern this weekend against ULM. To be honest, I don't think this is a given. We've seen Auburn lose to teams like this at home over the last 2 years under Freeze. So I think they need to play well and step forward this weekend.
In this day and age, Brian, you're going to have people moving every year. I'm going to transfer. I want to see go somewhere else. But Coach Freeze talks about re-recruiting this team. How do you think that's going to play out? What in terms of people coming and going? What any ballpark number or guesses of who some of those people might be?
That is really tough to guess, because on the one hand, I know Auburn is not a school that people leave a lot of times, right? They just don't take off. Auburn is a good place to play and go to school, and people love it here when they get here. Same with coaches, So with that in mind, I wouldn't expect a mass exodus or anything. And I think Auburn also has the resources to pay these players in the NIL era. So I think that's a plus. But I'd be surprised if there weren't some guys leaving and moving on. I think there's going to be other schools recruiting Auburn's roster and Auburn's recruiting class. This is how it is. And, Auburn needs to be aggressive and trying to retain their guys and go after other guys on other rosters, whether that's, a SEC roster or a group of 5 roster to get better players. But, I think Auburn really blew it in the offseason last year as far as bringing any talent at important positions like quarterback and left tackle. So I feel like they need to be aggressive in all areas when it comes to the transfer portal once it opens on December 9th.
My last question here, well, one of my last questions. Freeze had said, that they would be very, very foolish if they didn't think that some of the players' phones were ringing right now, which, again, the transfer portal doesn't open until, the day that the playoff brackets are announced. That's widespread. That's a thing, Brian.
I think that's overstated a little bit. I think the phones are ringing. It's parents and uncles and high school coaches and relatives, and maybe more so these agents or street agents, whatever you want to call them.
Right.
But yeah, I think that's part of it. I think, again, I think a lot of coaches want to cry wolf about things, that happen in this era, and that's just the way it is. But my thing is, Auburn is not in a position where they need to be we're going to do the things right way team. Okay. They need to be as aggressive as possible. What has happened this season is completely unacceptable, in my opinion. Yeah. They have taken a step back, and they need to go out and fix this roster and get players in here that can compete and win football games, because the margin of error has really shrank with you, Freeze, and his staff and his time at Auburn. Shrank.
Brian Matthews, AuburnSports.com, joins us. His Monday Musings brought to you by Uncle Keith's Red Sauce. Awesome. And knowing the right people can certainly help. Using Brian's discount code can help save you money online on an order, right?
That's right. You can order online, use BMAT15 for 15% off. You can find it statewide and surrounding states at Publix, Piggly Wiggly, Renfro's, delicious, homegrown right here in the state of Alabama. Give it a try. Really fresh tasting. You will absolutely love it.
It is outstanding. You better believe that. And Brian, let our listeners and viewers know how they can follow you and keep up with you and learn everything about what's going on with Auburn athletics.
Well, if I ever get my internet fixed, you can check us out at auburnsports.com. You can check me out on social media, Twitter/X and Threads at BMATAU. Should have plenty more coverage of football, basketball. I'm going to put up a baseball little notebook this morning here, hopefully soon. All that and more at auburnsports.com.
Well, it's already been a victory. I wasn't sure we'd ever get you on. It was wonderful. Thank you very much, Brian.
Appreciate it, guys. Y'all take care.
You too, buddy. Thank you so much on our City of Montgomery guest hotline, Brian Matthews, auburnsports.com. Barry, we're just going to go from one great guest to another. Our man, Travis Ryer, Talking Tide and Ryer on YouTube. He is going to join us here this morning. And there he is, Travis, joining us today. And Barry, I got to tell you, I do not recognize the logo on Travis's hat there. You take a stab. Is that
clue him in, McKnight. Clue him in.
Is that the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp?
Ding, 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 ding.
Nice. I like it. I like it. The Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp of the Southern League. Great stuff. Travis,
No. We're AAA now, McKnight.
I did not know.
That
is a new one for me.
We're moving on up.
There we go.
Man.
The Jumbo Shrimp.
So basically, we're the Marlins AAA affiliate. So basically, we're the Marlins Major League team, essentially. There's really no difference,
Yeah.
So they went from the Jacksonville Suns to the Jumbo Shrimps. Okay.
They were the Suns for a couple different iterations. They were the Jaxpos. They were the Montreal Expos.
That's when Randy Johnson was in Jacksonville.
Larry Walker came through there. I mean,
Yep.
Andres Galarraga came through there.
Man.
History lesson today. Love it.
Well, Travis, the Dolphins finally won yesterday to keep the state of Florida from going 0-12 in college and professional football over the weekend. So at least there was that. Takeaways from you? I'd be interested to see just exactly what you saw and what led to Alabama's ultimately dominating win in Baton Rouge on Saturday night.
Complete performance, really. Come out, take the football, go down the field, get in the end zone. We see the Jalen Milroe that it seemed like we hadn't seen maybe in a couple of 3 games. So he looked rejuvenated coming off the bye week. The offense in general did. And, give Nick Sheridan and the offensive staff a lot of credit. They obviously watched the second half of the Texas A&M LSU game because the quarterback runs were loaded and ready. Initially, you were wondering, though, because it was more running back centric, Jalen throwing the football a little bit early in that first possession, but then when they needed it later in that possession, it was really the start of another huge night on the ground for Jalen Milroe. And then defensively, it wasn't the best of starts. Special teams, defense, you give up the explosive return there after getting in the end zone. Caden Durham hits you with a 45-yard run, which he didn't fit well at all. I mean, that was pretty poor, but from that point forward, it felt like Alabama kind of got its legs under it. Defensively, got really clued in. I thought Damani Jackson keeping Durham short of the end zone on that run made LSU play red zone offense from the 5, and you end up forcing a field goal. That seemed to do wonders for the defensive psyche of this team too.
Yeah, I think so. I thought, I've heard a lot about, it's all been about Jalen Milroe and the 4 touchdowns, but you're right, Travis, a lot of praise for this Alabama defense. Been playing well, got some injuries on that side of the ball. I want to ask you about that, but overall, the defense certainly has stepped things up, and boy, Saturday night, they played really well.
Yeah, they really did. After that 45-yard run, they were pretty much lights out, took the ball away again at a pretty good clip. Huge interception by Deontay Lawson there early in the third quarter at the goal line where it looked like LSU would have an opportunity to cut that thing to a 1-score game, get that crowd back into it. But Lawson comes up big time with that pick. And you follow that up, the penalties weren't as significant on the road this time for Alabama as they were certainly at Tennessee. So if anything, it was LSU that had the problematic penalties, and they were big between turnovers, penalties, mistakes in general. Alabama not entirely clean, but much, much cleaner than LSU last Saturday night.
And that led into my next question I was going to ask you about. If you can look at that game from LSU's perspective, it was a continuation of that Texas A&M game. What are the problems that LSU fans are pointing out about Brian Kelly's programs?
Yeah, I think Blake Baker, the first-year defensive coordinator, is probably catching some heat right now. But at the end of the day, I still think they're short in terms of the type of players that they're going to continue to get at LSU. They've been through this sort of 3 or 4 year gap, which is odd for LSU in terms of having good enough people on the defensive side of the ball. They've got some injuries that they've had to deal with throughout the season, Harold Perkins Jr., some other guys that are important to them. But, right now, in terms of quarterback runs, especially, South Carolina had their number. Texas A&M had their number, and Jalen's had it for a couple of years now. 340 rushing yards and 8 rushing touchdowns and 2 starts against LSU. So even with the coordinator change, the defensive staff overhaul, they still have some ground to cover, I think, in terms of personnel.
Q Robinson goes out of the game. He's out for the year. How do they fill that spot, and what are you hearing about that injury?
Yeah, it's tough. More than anything, you hate it for Q because he is the epitome of a program guy. He has waited his turn. He has watched behind guys like Will Anderson, Dallas Turner, Chris Braswell. And he's important to this defense because he's the one guy, especially in terms of off the edge, that consistently can affect the quarterback. He had 4 sacks, I think, through 6 SEC games. And again, just tough for him personally. But Quay Rusal, a Montgomery guy, is going to have to step forward. Quay's been a starter throughout the season. Yep. So it's not like, this is just throwing him into the deep end of the pool. He's a second-year guy. He's still relatively young, but, they feel good about him, I know, especially on early downs in terms of physicality. He's coming on as a pass rusher, too. He's going to be that sort of complete guy in time, I think. But now, we learned yesterday that Keanu Coote, who's a veteran, is suspended for the time being. So Yanzi Pierre, another one of those sort of second-year guys that has really a high ceiling, especially as a pass rusher, going to need more of him. And I think Jahad Campbell's versatility really helps out because you can kick him out there in pass rush situations. You can come on with Justin Jefferson at inside linebacker. I think inside linebacker quality of depth is maybe going to help them too, where that Wolf position is concerned.
Travis Ryer is with us. Travis, I'm trying to work out the dominoes tonight when the college football playoff rankings are announced again. The top 12, and I know the rankings are not necessarily where the teams will go. Those are not seeds. Those are ranking. But right now, in the top 12 from last week, there are 4 SEC teams. Texas A&M was number 14. They go to Auburn in a couple of weeks. If Texas A&M continues to win and Alabama, Texas, Tennessee, Georgia keep doing what they're doing, is there a possibility there will be 5 SEC teams in the playoff? Is that fathomable to you?
I think a scenario where that could happen is if Alabama as a 2-loss team goes to Atlanta and plays a 1-loss team. And let's say Alabama doesn't win that game. Now Alabama's a 3-loss team, but still has 10 wins. So what do you do with Alabama in that situation? It almost feels like some of these 2-loss teams are maybe not publicly saying this or thinking this, but hey, we're good at 10-2 after the end of the regular season. Let somebody else go to Atlanta.
Well,
maybe take that 3rd loss and we'll just creep on into the CFP, even if we got to go on the road in the first round. We just want to know we're in that 12-team field.
Well, we made it very public here yesterday on the program, Travis. I said, if you're Alabama and you're 10-2, why would you want to go to Atlanta?
Yeah, you already got 27 or 28 of those, right? Whatever it is now. I mean, it's just just an SEC title.
Yeah, that's exactly what I said. I said, so what? Just another SEC title.
And if they,
Ole Miss and some other programs would sell a kidney just to get there. And Alabama.
And at the end of the year, if Alabama wins a national championship, you look like a goober if you're sitting there with your SEC championship T-shirt on.
Great.
That's true.
So, I mean, to me, that's going to be an issue with these conference championship games in the future. I mean, if you go and you lose and you're 10-3 instead of 10-2,
what's the real value?
What's the value in it? Certainly. I mean,
the value is in the TV money, as we know.
Yeah,
that's the value. That's why we even are still going to have those games. Because now the conferences have sold that as part of the television package and the rights to ESPN, ABC for $1 zillion. So, but no, to your point in terms of the teams themselves, if you miss out on the big dance, what did it really get you?
And I liked one of the projections of what might happen in the playoff as it sits today. There's a couple of guys making predictions that Alabama would be in South Bend taking on Notre Dame in a first-round game. I'm thinking, sounds good to me.
Brother.
Sign up.
I'm
Sign
good
everybody
with
up for that one. Yeah, I think TV would certainly love that matchup too. No doubt about that. And could have the potential for a snow game, right, in South Bend. I don't know.
See how you like that.
How fun that. Those are a lot more fun watching them on television than actually being in attendance.
Yeah, freezing your tuchus off.
It's overrated. Snow games in person are very, very overrated.
Depends on where you're sitting, Travis.
Well, yeah. I mean, look, if you're in a suite, then you're at home basically.
Yeah,
basically.
If you're in the elements, you're there.
After last night, the win for Nate Oates' club against McNeese, it's a pretty good body of evidence right now. With all of the evidence you've seen, just an overarching thought about the potential of Alabama men's hoops, Travis.
Yeah, it's still great. And I like that they've been pushed the last couple of games. I mean, this is why Nate schedules the way he does. And I know you see McNeese and you think, well, I mean, how much are you really going to get? I mean, if that team doesn't win its league, I'll be shocked. Will Wade's got a really, really good team for that sort of mid-major level, low major level. And, they've been pushed the last couple of times out, and the schedule certainly ramps up moving forward. I mean, you go to Purdue coming up here, and then, you think about some of the other games in this next 5-6 game stretch, very legitimate run coming up. And I thought they showed last night, even when they aren't at their best on the offensive end, this team seems to have a willingness to defend first and foremost, so they can get into sort of some rock fights if they have to and get the job done. And I think that's where having all of this talent probably helps Nate in terms of competition on the practice floor, because defending is still a non-negotiable for him. And minutes are very, very precious when you have this type of depth. I mean, we're seeing guys already take red shirts that in a lot of years might be rotational pieces at a place like Alabama. So I think that benefits him too. But sure, again, I give McNeese a lot of credit pushing Alabama last night into the final few minutes of that game. And also for Alabama showing that if it needs to, it can get down in a stance, defend, and get out of there with a win.
Travis Ryer, Ryer on YouTube, Talking Tide with us here this morning. Travis, one of our viewers out in Phoenix, Arizona, Tobias, with a very interesting question. I have not watched a lot of Ohio State football this year, certainly not as much as I have with the SEC, but Tobias wants your thoughts about Caleb Downs, the player who transferred from Alabama to Ohio State. Tobias says he hadn't heard his name called a lot, really hadn't been much out of Downs this year. Tobias. Your thoughts on that?
Look, Caleb Downs is a good football player, man. Yeah. There's no way around that. Yeah, I know for Alabama fans it stung, but at the end of the day, and he does play multiple positions, but at the end of the day, his primary position isn't one like quarterback or left tackle. I mean, there's value in safeties these days, especially, again, versatile safeties. But as far as this Alabama team is concerned, it hasn't really shown up as being that detrimental. I mean, they've had some issues at times, but, Caleb wasn't perfect last year for Alabama, and he was a true freshman. So, there's some credence that has to be given to that. He's still a really young player, but I'll tell you, Malachi Moore is playing at a high level right now. And even without Keon Sabb, Bray Hubbard has stepped in there and played lights out from that one safety spot. Another interception against LSU. It's a guy that always seems to be in the right place at the right time, and then athletic enough that he can finish those opportunities with either takeaways or big hits. Seems like he closes green very quickly, whether that's because he does take what he's supposed to do from the meeting room to the field, as well as just about anybody you'll see. But then again, this is a guy in high school, outstanding athlete, played quarterback. So probably some of those instincts and that awareness from playing that position helps him too in his spot.
Always great information. Love the cap and that's outstanding. Travis Ryer, Talking Tide. How do people access all of the content that you provide?
Well, first and foremost, I'm right there still at Twitter/X at Travis Ryer, TravisReier. And then on YouTube, Ryer on YouTube is our channel. We have Talking Tide on there with Tuscaloosa News sports columnist Chase Goodbread. We do Second Helping, our SEC show, a couple days a week with my great friend and co-host Brent Beard. We're going to have some perhaps new Alabama coverage that we might introduce coming up later in the week in primetime Thursday night, looking at maybe a new show where Alabama is concerned. So always looking to add, always looking to have, more than anything, a great time right there at Ryer on YouTube.
Travis, as always, my friend, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it. Have a great week, and we'll talk next Tuesday.
Thanks, guys. Look.
All right, buddy. Thank you so much. Great insight, as always, from our man, Travis Ryer. Ryer on YouTube. Try find him everywhere. I mean, he's all over the place, sporting the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp hat today. I'd never seen that logo before. That is really a cool logo.
I got to be honest. The main reason why I recognized it, my parents lived in Jacksonville for forever. We'd go down all the time, obviously. Yeah. And I found a Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp hat in the Goodwill on San Jose Boulevard in Jacksonville. So, yeah, there were a few of those out there as well. Tobias, your question. Woof. Oh, he handled it well, though, Tobias. Caleb Downs named a semifinalist for the Ronnie Lott Impact Award. Todd McShay, ESPN, calls Ohio State's Caleb Downs the best safety in the country. One of the Ohio State websites says why Caleb Downs is the Ohio State football team's best player. Ohio State star defender Caleb Downs gets massive take from NFL draft expert. Caleb Downs named a semifinalist for the Jim Thorpe Award. Tobias.
I haven't watched a lot of Ohio State. I saw them against Oregon, the game which they lost. Their schedule, I guess, has been somewhat weak. They do have Indiana coming up.
I'll go with that. Yeah, not this week, but next. Watch out.
And I just haven't, Tobias, I just haven't really followed Caleb Downs since he left Tuscaloosa. Haven't really seen a lot of Ohio State football, as I mentioned. Although he's a great player, I just, just haven't seen much of what he's done this year, but certainly getting the accolades from the NFL types.
Yeah. Good stuff, as always, from those guys. Love all of that. There's some really good stuff on the River Region Straw chat line. JR is talking in a question about Coleman Coliseum. He says it's a little dated, has some dark areas, and the seats aren't close to the floor, Kirk. The Boogs don't like it because it ain't Auburn. JR, has there never been conversation from Bama fans before about Beard Eves Coliseum and curtains?
Yeah. The curtains.
All of that, NBA. Well, when we come back, all right, Chris the Bammer, we're going to do you a solid. Straight to the Victoryland 777 topic wheel when we return. He's John Longshore. I'm Barry McKnight. It's Longshore and McKnight, presented by Bud Light.
Shopping for a budget-friendly, reliable used car, or maybe a stunning new Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, or Ram? Well, in Prattville, it's always a process that starts with the team of professionals from Stiver CDJR. Thanks to years of experience helping others in the local community enjoy premium service, low prices, and access to a wealth of amazing new and used cars, it's safe to say that Stiver's Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram is the name to beat in Prattville. But hey, just don't take my word for it. Experience the Stiver's difference for yourself. Prices that will not be beat, a huge inventory, and knowledgeable, helpful sales associates. See why so many happy car and truck buyers shop at Stiver's CDJR, where price sells cars and trucks on Cobbs Ford Road in Prattville.
Some days you hit snooze, but not today. Today you have to go on a run to get burgers for the tailgate. You've got to haul something heavy, a cooler stocked with Bud Light. When you've got beer and football, nothing is hard. Until the other team scores. Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Enjoy responsibly. 21 plus. Copyright 2024 Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Enjoy all the food, drink, fun, and winning at Victoryland. An elevated entertainment value, the best overall casino experience, and the highest jackpot payouts makes Victoryland the place to be. Go to Victoryland.com to find out more about their incredible giveaways, daily promotions, and free play opportunities. 777 Casino, simulcast thoroughbred, and Greyhound Racing are all within a short drive from anywhere in the Southeast. Victoryland, I-85, exit 22, Shorter, Alabama. At Victoryland, you can be a winner too.
All guests of Longshore McKnight appear on the City of Montgomery guest hotline. Check out the most interesting and informed personalities in sports covering Auburn, Alabama, Troy, ASU, and all the major teams from across the country. John and Barry have the best guests brought to you by the City of Montgomery. To find out everything you need to know that is going on in the capital city, check out montgomeryal.gov. That's montgomeryal.gov, the capital of dreams.
You know, Barry, Victorland open 24/7, and they're giving you more opportunities to enjoy free play at Victoryland. It's going on all day today out there in Shorter, Alabama, exit 22 off I-85. Take advantage of the free play. They got it going on 4 different times today. It started at 3 a.m., and they're kicking it back off again this morning, again a couple of times in the afternoon and the evening. Take advantage of free play at Victoryland, where you can be a winner too.
In McKnight, presented by Bud Light through Yellowhammer News. I've been really kind of getting into Yellowhammer News, post-election coverage, the state elections, the local election, stuff like that. Great stuff from them. Proud to be with them.
Yep, we are proud to be with them. And there again, check it out at yellowhammernews.com or anywhere on the social media, X, Twitter, Facebook, you name it. It's all over the place. Yep. And you can certainly follow them there. And we're great to be associated, happy to be associated with them. Okay, our Victoryland 777 topic, Will, we've kind of had that going here this morning. The last one, I just want to put a bow on the last one. Byrne not listening. That's Greg Byrne, athletic director at Alabama.
He's listened before. Before. I get it that he doesn't admit he listens to John Longshore. I mean, it's like the old Police Academy TV shows where Sergeant Drebin, he didn't know where it was going with his investigation, so he'd go see that shoeshine guy.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
And the shoeshine guy would give him some information and all that kind of stuff. He never tell him, hey, who my guy is or anything. No. But I get that he doesn't give or hasn't given John any credit for having listened to John's ideas. But now he's not even listening at all. I mean, not a bit.
And I know, Coleman is a topic. People talk about Coleman Coliseum a lot. And, a new arena would be great. It'd be nice. Flashy, bells and whistles, the whole deal. But basically, that's just for the fans.
Well, and the fans are saying, look, we're rated number 1, number 2 in the country right now without it. What do we need it for? That's the old Bear Bryant, Cliff Denny Stadium. Is it Cliff Denny?
It was just Denny.
Denny Stadium. It's fine. We're winning national championships with it the way it is. Why do we change? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I get it. All right.
Well, we didn't have NIL back then, or maybe we did, but it was
not so you could notice.
Yeah, it was structured in a different way. But that's the big deal. Nate Oates has said it. It's all about NIL. And I get it, the fans. I get it. We're too far away from the floor. They're dark areas. It's actually, if you're sitting in a dark area, you can see the floor better. It's kind of like, when you turn the lights on in your car at night when you're driving, you can't see as well outside. Yeah. Same type theory.
But it looks terrible on TV.
It does look bad on TV. It kind of looks like the Lakers arena or the old one. It was always dark there.
Yeah.
But that didn't get changing. I mean, they could put a shovel in the ground today. They're not shooting hoops in a new arena for 3 years at the soonest. But, NIL, that's the big deal. So you got to live with what you got. But the media area, I just don't get it. And I know, where do you put them? But the next time you watch an Alabama game on TV, just notice that area up there just sitting there like a boil on the butt of humanity. That was a rusty line.
This is from Robbie. He said Coleman Coliseum is just fine from watching on TV.
There you have it, Robbie.
Robbie, listen. I'm no expert on anything. If you don't agree with me on anything, that's fine. My power is not to try to convince people. But I have done television over 50 times from Coleman Coliseum. And I've worked with a lot of different producers, a lot of different TDs, a lot of different technical directors, and every one of them has said, golly, is there anything we can do about those shadows in the corners? I mean, they've tried, different filters and all that kind of stuff. I'm saying it's a thing, Robbie. It is a thing. The television doesn't like it. It's difficult to do it. And look, the fans have been known for years for not being especially boisterous, particularly the Elmers and Agneses up, in the expensive seats. But you have to be absolutely screaming for it to resonate in that place, because all the noise goes up in the corners and in that big old Quonset hut looking and all that. I've gotten off whether or not they change it, whether they should build a new one, whatever. But I am saying it's a thing. The way Coleman looks on television, you have to really doctor it up. You spend a lot of time on the student section. And this is another thing that they used to do. They'd spend a lot of time with the cameras behind the press row. You'd see that angle where you look at the court and you see the press row. This is what they didn't like. This is also what made Coleman Coliseum look bad. You see all those geezers in the media sitting at media row to the left and the right of Joe Dean and Tom Hammond and all those guys on television. You'd see the Alf Van Hooses and the Jimmy Bryans and the Clyde Boltons over there, and they say, can we get those guys up in a corner somewhere? I don't care. Build them get them a couple of folding card tables and put them in the corner stuff. So, yeah.
Bill from Baltimore says, put the press courtside. Reporters don't storm the court. Bill, they used to be courtside, and they moved them up into the stands because they realized they could sell seats on the floor for a lot of money. So you got people sitting there courtside, and they sit. They're not standing up very often. Those guys, I've sat there before. They're not getting up. They're sitting there most of the game.
John's like this. John's like this. Feels like the stag line at the high school dance with old man Schwump over here. Come on.
But to me, you're wanting to get the fans closer to the action. Why in the world the media is set up there, I don't know. And I know the next question: where are you going to put the media in Tuscaloosa? I don't know. I don't know where you're going to put them, but just don't put them there.
Does he not know? He doesn't care.
Don't care. Really don't. I mean, so what? So find a place to put them. How about in that dark corner? Can they not put them up there?
John wants to put them in a room off the main mezzanine with a video monitor in there. Watch it from in there, Yeah,
I mean, why not? We'll feed you. We'll bring you the food. We'll bring you something to drink. Do all the perks that you get, but we're going to put you in a room with a huge bank of TVs, and you can write your story from there. Do they really have to be at the game? I mean, what does that do for them? Hey, well, I'm here and I'm feeling the energy and I'm seeing the fans and I'm up here in the corner. I can't see the floor as well as I used to, but hey, at least I'm here. Do they really need to be at the game? I mean, really? Think about that.
Listen to him, Bernie. Listen to him.
I say
Greg.
No. Don't. And I know media people. Oh my Lord! Don't do that. I'll be without my.
The nation
free pass.
was built upon a foundation of free, energetic press.
Yeah, I mean, I want my free pass and my free place to sit, my free food and my free parking pass. Don't do that. Don't take it away from me. Hey, the world's changing, folks. All right, enough of that. I guess I know Chris the Bammer's chomping at the bit. Spin the wheel.
It's wheel time. Here we go. All right. What we got? What do we got?
Ooh, it is spinning. Oh, we were going to get to this yesterday. We couldn't do it.
Top 25.
College football, top 25. The ratings for the playoff will be tonight at 6:00. I'm interested in that. But we do know a couple
That's
of top
all that matters.
20, yeah, really. A couple of top 25 teams lost last week in Georgia and Miami. Just kind of wondering how that top 25 is going to shake out. Some teams that are going to be still in that top 25 this week compared to last week. But those two teams that lost, Miami and Georgia, probably the biggest news within the top 25 of last week.
Yeah, well, Miami, they lose to Georgia Tech. Miami falls all the way. Where's Miami? Well, let's start. Oregon, number one for the fourth straight week. Ohio State 2, Texas 3, Penn State is 4.
Oh, okay.
Indiana, just outside Indiana, is 5. You can take that little snapshot. Oregon, Ohio State, Texas, Penn State, Indiana. Indiana has won more games than anybody. They are 10-0. Oregon's 10-0. Ohio State 8-1, Texas 8-1, Penn State 8-1. Tennessee is number 6 at 8-1. BYU 7 at 9-0. Notre Dame is number 8, one spot ahead of the highest ranked 2-loss team in the country, the Alabama Crimson Tide. Robbie says Alabama should be ranked ahead of Georgia in the college football playoff standings because head-to-head win and having the same record as the Bulldogs. I think you're exactly right. Alabama is ranked ahead of Georgia in the AP Top 25. Alabama's 9. Ole Miss is 10. Georgia is 11. Miami falls all the way to 12. And here's the thing with Miami. I mean, they still are in the driver's seat to win the ACC, so that loss doesn't hurt them as far as entree into the college football playoff. They win the ACC championship, they're in with a bye. But if they lose another one, it's going to be tough. They don't have enough oomph at the end of their schedule to make up for another loss somewhere. Boise State's number 13, by the way. In case you're wondering, top 20, LSU's number 21 at 6-3 after their loss. In case you're wondering, Auburn does not make the top 25.
No way. Really? Wow, no way. How about UAB? They make it? No, I didn't think so.
No.
So you said Alabama's at 9?
Alabama's number 9 with Mercer trying to play the spoiler.
So
Saturday.
Will they be 9 tonight in the college football playoff ranking?
Or better.
Yeah, will they move up to from 11 to 9? Well, if they're better than 9, they'll
leapfrog they'll leapfrog a deserving one-loss team. Alabama's the highest ranked 2-loss team out there.
So if they move up to 8 or higher or greater, they're hosting a game.
That would be the attraction. That would be the goal right there. Yeah, that's a good point. Again, the rankings, the AP rankings, heck, the college football playoff rankings tonight does not mean those are the seeds. As a matter of fact, don't get caught up in all that. Hey, they've got us ranked whatever. That means we'll play in the whatever. No. It's not seeding. The seeding is determined by, your conference championship or whatever. Right now, the latest seeding, Alabama was number 11. That does not mean that they would be an 11 seed necessarily. For instance, let me take an example here. Who's the highest rated Big 12 team out there? It's BYU. BYU at number 9. Okay, BYU's undefeated. They're 9-0. They're number 9. If they stay undefeated, I don't care if they end up in the number 6 in the AP poll, they'll be a top 4 team for being a champion of a top 4 rated conference. So don't get caught up.
That's going to probably happen for a couple of 3 years. Excuse me. And these teams are going to get wiped off the field, and we're going to be going, why are they in the playoff? Why they let these teams in? And I know, got to let everybody have a chance, have a shot, but BYU getting a top 4 seed? I don't know.
The Big 12 in last week's top 25 college football playoff rankings, BYU, SMU, Iowa State, Kansas State, those are the only, and Colorado. Those are there are 5 Big 12 teams in the top 25. There will not be more than 2 Big 12 teams at most in the college football playoffs.
I'm with you there.
BYU, maybe. The only other chance, maybe, is SMU. I don't know, though. Iowa State, maybe.
This is interesting information, Barry, because I was expecting 6:00 tonight. Robbie tells everybody that the rankings, college football playoff bracket will be released at halftime between the Michigan State, Kansas game.
Yeah.
Robbie, thank you. I did not realize that.
That's going to be good. And they're not dumb. I mean, that's a night of must-see viewing. Just keep it locked in and rip the knobs off for ESPN tonight, because it's going to be great. You got Kansas and Michigan State. Kansas number 1 in the country. They play in East Lansing, 5:30. And then you got Kentucky and Duke on ESPN at 8. Normally, they only have a 2-hour window when they go back to back, which means a lot of times they enter the second game in progress. The reason why that's a 2.5-hour window, I like it because, number one, it means that they're going to stay firm at a half hour for that college football playoff presentation, which is dreary. Let's just announce them and move on.
I don't need the commentary. I'm with you there. Bear, I think we talked about this yesterday. I don't have the exact number, but something like Alabama's beaten 4 top 25 teams this year, something like that, the most of any team in the country. They've beaten ranked opposition. I'd be interested how much that factors into where Alabama is positioned tonight in the release of the bracket, the playoff rankings. Obviously, their win against LSU, that's the eye test. I know that a lot of people don't like the eye test, but they got a lot of quality points on the eye test category.
If the eye test didn't matter, we'd still be doing the computer rankings like we did with the old BCS. You're right. Yeah. You're right. That means something, and I don't have a problem with it. I'm not a huge eye test guy. I'm all interested in results, and if you're good enough to win, it doesn't matter whether you win sexy or something like that. But I understand what they're talking about. It's a human enterprise, and I'm always welcoming the human aspect of it instead of just computers. That's why I don't like things like a computerized strike zone in baseball, stuff like that. Get the people involved.
I'll be interested to see who makes the biggest jump in a positive direction, who makes the biggest fall in a negative direction from last week to this week's release.
My guess on that, and that's a good observation. My guess is Indiana. They beat the defending national champions last week. They didn't play great. Kurt Cignetti, the head coach, said afterwards, he said, "Hey, I'm happy we won, but I'm disturbed that we didn't play great." That's championship style coaching right there. They're number 8 in the latest poll. I'm still trying to figure out who they would. Well, Miami will drop behind them. Somebody will move up to the number 4 spot. It won't be Indiana. They'll refuse to do that. It'll probably be Texas.
Mm-hmm.
And then Indiana may leapfrog Penn State and Tennessee. It's
going to be real interesting to see what happens there. Robbie's coming hard today. Robbie, great point. SMU now in the driver's seat of the ACC. Could Rhett Lashley win the ACC, make the playoff at SMU, and then Auburn people are going to be gnashing their teeth saying, "Why did we not hire Rhett Lashley?"
I was reading the wrong line. SMU, I said Big 12. They're ACC. Here's what'll happen. SMU will play Miami for the ACC championship or something like that. They'll be at the top. If SMU or Miami, one of those is going to lose the ACC. And that will really, really, really hurt them. This is what we're talking about with Travis. Why would you even want to play in your conference championship game if you got a playoff spot locked up? Yep. Let's take a break.
Let's do it.
Hit some more on the chat on the topic wheel. When we come back, it's Longshore and McKnight presented by Bud Light.
Shopping for a budget-friendly, reliable used car, or maybe a stunning new Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, or Ram. Well, in Prattville, it's always a process that starts with the team of professionals from Stivers CDJR. Thanks to years of experience helping others in the local community enjoy premium service, low prices, and access to a wealth of amazing new and used cars, it's safe to say that Stivers Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram is the name to beat in Prattville. But hey, just don't take my word for it. Experience the Stivers difference for yourself. Prices that will not be beat, a huge inventory, and knowledgeable, helpful sales associates. See why so many happy car and truck buyers shop at Stivers CDJR, where Price sells cars and trucks on Cobbs Ford Road in Prattville.
Hi, this is Benji with Marguerite's Exquisite Jewelry. Guys, this is the time to shop. The holidays will be here before you know it. Our cases are slam full, so take advantage and lay away for Christmas now. We have a full repair shop and design shop. So if you dream it, we can make it for her. And if you need any repairs, we have an in-house master jeweler. At Marguerite's, we make it. We really make it. At Marguerite's, we are open 7 days a week. Come see us at the Preparatory Shopping Center, 8163 Vaughn Road, Montgomery, Alabama, right by Chappie's.
Phoenix Physical Therapy is ready to help patients recover, recharge, and rise. They develop a customized therapy plan for each patient to get them back to enjoying their favorite activities. Their experienced team is committed to providing exceptional care in a professional environment. Whether you're looking to prevent or treat an injury, recover from a recent illness, or recuperate from surgery, schedule an appointment with our clinic and take advantage of our physical therapy, athletic training, workers' comp, and employer solutions service. Experience elevated physical therapy today. Call Phoenix Physical Therapy at 239-9316. That's 239-9316. Jim Massey's Cleaners and Laundry is an Alabama-based, family-owned and operated business that specializes in dry cleaning and laundry, serving the river region since 1941. There are 12 convenient locations across the river region. Find one close to you or call 481-1911 for free pickup and delivery. For 83 years, Central Alabama has trusted Jim Massey's Cleaners and Laundry. You should too.
Okay, welcome back in, everybody. About 15 minutes to the top of the hour. Longshore and McKnight, presented by Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy, and certainly happy with our affiliation and partnership with Yellowhammer News. Check it out at yellowhammernews.com. You can also check them out in several other ways on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on Instagram, on X. Check it out, yellowhammernews.com. Features about Longshore and McKnight and so many other great things from politics, business, faith and culture, lifestyles, sports. They've got it for you at yellowhammernews.com. Okay.
Well, you can tell Robbie's up. He's ready to go.
Yeah, he is.
Ooh. I mean, if he's thinking it, he's chatting it right now.
Love it, Robbie.
And of course, Steve, formerly of Prattville, he says, Smoo, if you don't know Longshoreese, there are several programs. SMU will always be SMU.
Yep.
Louisiana, the University of Louisiana Monroe is LAMO. You got the UABs, it just goes without saying.
Yeah, it just goes without saying. You got to have these little cute names. Years ago, somebody dropped ALBS on a program that we were on in the past, and Barry went, "What'd you say?" He went, "ALBS."
Never heard that before in my life. I lived in Auburn for 25 years and never heard anybody say ALBS in my life until I heard John say it.
Should have gone Pat Riley and trademarked it, I guess.
Patented it, yeah.
Yeah, you live and learn. All right, Gern, let's see what's on the wheel. Got it all greased up, ready to go. 4 more topics to get to. Let's do it.
Okay.
Talk with Brian about this, Barry. It looks like Peyton Thorne's not getting the start against LaMo Saturday.
Yeah, see, LaMo, there you go. The word is that he was a little ill, or maybe the fans were. He missed practice during the bye week last week. Hugh Freeze was telling everybody that yesterday, and will be evaluated this week ahead of the return to the field. He injured his shoulder in the second half 2 Saturdays ago against Vanderbilt, but he didn't leave the game, but it bothered him. Now he's a little bit ill. That may be, I don't doubt that he was sick. I don't doubt that he missed practice, but maybe that's just an entree for you to say, well, he just couldn't practice. That's, we still love him. We still believe in him. He hasn't played terribly. But hey, what are you going to do? He's sick, something like that.
Yeah.
Brian said he thinks it'll be Hank Brown.
Hank Brown.
Holden Gariner is a redshirt sophomore, which means this is his third year in the program. And he has not, I think he had 2 pass attempts against Alabama A&M in the first game, which Auburn won, by the way.
Yeah, sure did.
Hank Brown started the Arkansas game, did not play well, got benched. Peyton Thorne came back in. Hank Brown has not taken a snap since. And Walker White, who was the number 5 quarterback recruit from last year's class, hasn't played. Brian says he's been running the scout team and all that.
So if any of the quarterbacks that do come into play, Hank Brown starts, whatever, and they fiddle fart around, and that crowd's getting a little restless, and there might be a scatter. What's a scattering? Like hash browns? A scattering of boos?
Smattering, yes.
Yeah, I'm thinking, man, it's a lot of pressure on that kid.
Right. But that would be playing to the fan base more than anything else. That would be trying to get them to, look, we're doing what you want to do or whatever. I don't know.
Weather. Now, Theotis, come on. You expect us to believe you were saying Aubs 45 years ago? No way. No way, Theotis. I don't believe
you were saying
that.
It to yourself because I never heard it.
Yeah. I don't believe that.
Yeah.
Actually, I got to give credit where credit is due. The first play, he's the first person.
How many times can you say that about how many different things?
It's kind of makes you homesick, don't it, Dave?
Yeah, when Housel stepped off the bus at Graymont in front of the Iron Bowl. That
was the Sandbox game, Barry.
All right, what else we got on the topic wheel? We got 3 more to work through here.
We do. Yeah, you do. So let's spin it, Gern. Let's see what we got. 3 more to go. And it's going to land on hoops. Hoop. We've touched on Alabama. A little scare there, but I did a little research. McNeese State isn't all bad. They're pretty good.
They won the game.
Yeah, I know.
Now, why in the world are people looking for excuses when they won the game? Well, we didn't win it by 45 like I think we should.
Yeah.
I mean, you won the game.
I don't know what the point spread in that game was last night. Maybe Range Pro can help me out with that. But I don't think they covered. I'm going to say Bama.
I don't think so
even
either.
Knowing, I don't think Bama covered the spread last night.
Here's what it looks like. Alabama will play Purdue on Friday in West Lafayette. Purdue played for the national championship last year, in case you didn't know, but they've lost their 7'4" center, Zach Edey, to the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
Alabama doesn't need to play like they did yesterday against Purdue.
Maybe they were looking ahead.
Yeah. And then they've got Illinois a week from tomorrow in Birmingham in the CM Newton Classic. Meanwhile, Auburn, they don't have to travel. They Kent State tomorrow night at Neville Arena, 7:00. Then North Alabama this week. I think that'll be Monday. They play North Alabama on the 18th, whenever that is, at Neville Arena. That is at 8:00 before they head to Maui during Thanksgiving.
Oh, that's going to be awesome.
At the Maui Invitational. So, they've got that.
Said, Mark says Tide was favored by 20. Joe says, hell no, they didn't cover.
Coach Bohannon, yeah. Very nice. Very nice.
Is that guy going to catch it for ever? And of course, Barry, some teams I'm familiar with. Michigan State, Kansas, Duke, Kentucky. I know those teams. They're playing tonight.
They're playing tonight. You got Kansas, Michigan State, 5:30 on ESPN. Then the college football playoff rankings. Then Kentucky, Duke from Durham at 8 on ESPN. Duke is number 6. Kentucky is number 19. Duke has maybe the most dynamic freshman in a couple of years, named Cooper Flagg. He's really, really good. Yeah. Yes. There you go. And Troy, of course, after the show, we're going to get off live in about 10 minutes. In about 15 minutes, I'll be in a car heading for Fayetteville, Arkansas. Troy plays Arkansas's Razorbacks tomorrow night at 7.
All right, real quick before we spin the wheel one more time, Dennis Mitchell. He's up. He's active today. wanting to know what is going on at Garrett Coliseum. Well, my first question would be, have they ordered the dynamite, brought the demolition trucks in yet? But I don't think that's happened. So I don't know. Don't know. I know the fair was out there about a month ago, but
yeah, it was near there. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. I've been hearing about what they're doing at Garrett Coliseum for years, and
I don't know.
When rodeos and wrestling matches and things like that, the fair, great. But I don't think anything else big is coming out there until they have a major overhaul but I don't see that happening. So
Joe, don't call it that. Come on now. Let's go back to the wheel.
Six Flags over Chisholm. Who dropped that on us years ago? That was a good one.
Was that the realist?
I think it might have been the realist. Six Flags over Chisholm. Okay, spin the wheel, Gurn. Let's see.
All right, here we go.
Ooh, I thought it was stuck there for a minute.
There's some oil.
Hey, we just talked about the Trojans. How about busy Trojans? Not only Barry being busy, he's getting on the road in 13 minutes. Barry, give me that schedule one more time. It's like basketball, and then football Saturday night.
Yep. Men's basketball tomorrow night at number 16, Arkansas in Fayetteville. I'll be up there on the Troy Sports Media Network. It's on the SEC Network. Plus tomorrow night, men's basketball is 2-0. Arkansas is 1-1, but number 16 in the country. Troy women's basketball has been on the road all year so far. They'll be back on the road tomorrow at Chattanooga. At 5 o'clock, have the radio broadcast there. Volleyball is at home Thursday and Friday. Troy Volleyball has been playing really well lately. They got App State. This closes out the regular year before the Sun Belt Volleyball Tournament. Volleyball versus App State, Trojan Arena, Thursday at 6. It's the whiteout game. All fans are asked to wear white, and the first 100 fans get some great giveaways. And then they close it out on Friday at 6, which is senior night, pregame recognition for all volleyball seniors prior to their final home game. Again, men's basketball tomorrow night, 7 o'clock in Fayetteville against Arkansas. We'll spend the night. I'll do the show tomorrow and Thursday from Fayetteville, drive back Thursday afternoon. We'll do the show on Friday from Stivers, and then I hop in a car and we drive to Statesboro, Georgia for Troy football, trying to make it 2 wins in a row. Saturday at 3 o'clock against Georgia Southern. And then Sunday, I've got to send somebody to men's basketball at Oregon in Eugene. That's on the Big Ten Network Plus, and we'll have a radio broadcast from Kamari Darrington on that one. So there you go.
Awesome.
It's busy.
No kidding. A lot going on with the Trojan athletic department. I'm telling you, they are all over the place. All right, one more to go. I believe it is Monday Night Football. Put it up there, Gurn, just to make sure. Yes, we told you about the Dolphins on the road. Go all the way to L.A. and beat the Rams last night on Monday Night Football.
What is the problem with the L.A. Rams? I mean, they can't do anything on offense. I mean, they got Matthew Stafford, they got Nakua, they got all these guys, and they look terrible. Miami goes and they beat the Rams on SoFi, 23-15 on Monday Night Football.
Yep.
That breaks a terrible weekend for football in the state of Florida until Miami won last night. The state of Florida was 0-11 in football. Florida lost to Texas. Florida State lost to Notre Dame. Miami lost to Georgia Tech. UCF lost to Arizona State. South Florida lost to Navy. FAU lost to East Carolina. Bethune-Cookman lost to Southern. FAMU lost to Prairie View. Stetson lost to Marist. The Jacksonville Jaguars lost to the Vikings. And, of course, the Buccaneers fell to the San Francisco 49ers. Yuck.
Man, that is a rough weekend. That is some tough stuff.
Yeah.
I'm glad to see the Dolphins could get a win. They've been traveling a lot. We talked about that the other day. I know they've gone to Seattle already. They've been to L.A. I think, when you're down there in the south of Florida, you're going to have to travel a little bit. Boy, they have really hit the road this year.
I get it, Plainsman Preston. I get it. Mike McDaniel is the Dolphins coach. He's geeky. He's a little weird. Big glasses. Looks like, he's about to sing Whip It. Yeah, put one of those red conical plastic helmets on him. He looks like he's in Devo. He's a little bit strange. He wears the hoodie, but he wears the capri pants that go just below his knees and all that. He's a little bit strange, but in kind of a mad genius kind of so strange he's cool kind of way. I like it.
Golfers wear those kind of pants? They're kind of banded at the ankles. Is that what
the old Payne Stewarts? Oh, no, not at that. Yeah, down at the ankles. Yeah.
At the ankles.
This guy, I mean, he's got half his shin showing. That's not the look for me.
I saw some Alabama players. I'm watching the game the other day, a replay of it, and they got a couple of players that their football pants are so short.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's everybody.
They're way above the knees now.
Uh-huh.
It used to be just right on the knee. Now they're way up, like mid-thigh. I mean, there again, we got to do something about that. We got to make some new rules. They've got to enforce the rules. Yeah,
the rules are there. They just don't pay attention to them. Kind of like Mississippi State and the Cowbells. The rules are there to stop it, but they won't stop it.
I don't get it. I do not get it. Do not like the uniforms. And Barry, I got to tell you, the end zone celebrations are getting a little bit out of hand. They're giving them way too much wiggle room.
Plus, I mean, the celebrations are bad, but they're celebrating over, in the NFL especially, over terrible things. You know, they're celebrating like, who was it? I think the Vikings got a fumble at like the 40-yard line. They recovered a fumble at the 40-yard line. So the guy that recovers the fumble gets all of his buddies to run down to the end zone with him, and they do his choreographed, like the Rockettes or something like that. And I'm thinking, you recovered a fumble.
Yeah,
you're 45 yards away from doing anything with it. Come on now.
Act like you've been there before, as they say. But these in college, they're giving away too much wiggle room in college. These guys, not as to the extent of the NFL, but they're not handing the ball back to the ref.
No.
Yeah.
No.
I Barry, tomorrow, our Phoenix Physical Therapy Medical Rehab segment. We'll touch on that. We'll ask a little bit about Q Robinson's injury and what that could be and what that rehab's going to be like. Several other things we're going to touch on as well. And Michael Bruner of YellowHammerNews.com, he's going to join us. He's part of their sports department there at Yellowhammer. He's going to join us tomorrow on the program as well.
That's going to be a lot of fun. Hope you join us live from 7 till 9 in association with Yellowhammer. It's Longshore and McKnight, presented by Bud Light.